Hello and welcome aboard for another Driver's Eye View journey. Today we are travelling from Milton Keynes Central to Northampton along the historic Northampton Loop of the West Coast Main Line. This is a fascinating railway, rich in history and packed with interesting sights, engineering achievements and reminders of Britain's railway heritage. Whether you're a rail enthusiast, train spotter, railway historian, or simply enjoy watching the world pass by from the cab of a train, this route offers something for everyone. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey as we depart Milton Keynes Central and head north towards Northampton. Milton Keynes Central is one of the busiest stations on the southern section of the West Coast Main Line. Although the railway itself dates back to the 1830s, the city of Milton Keynes is a much newer creation. The station opened in 1982 to serve the rapidly growing new town, which was designated in 1967. As we leave the station, it is worth remembering that this railway forms part of one of Britain's most important transport corridors. The original route was built by the London and Birmingham Railway, engineered by the great Robert Stephenson, and opened between 1837 and 1838. It was one of the world's pioneering intercity railways and helped transform travel across Britain. Looking ahead, you'll notice the multiple tracks of the West Coast Main Line stretching into the distance. This route carries a mixture of local commuter trains, long-distance expresses and heavy freight traffic, making it one of Europe's busiest railways. As we continue northwards, the modern cityscape of Milton Keynes gradually gives way to the countryside of Buckinghamshire and Northamptonshire. The area around here would have looked very different when the railway first opened. Steam locomotives hauled trains across what was then largely agricultural land. Today, the route is electrified and sees modern electric trains travelling at high speed beneath the overhead wires. Soon we approach Wolverton. Wolverton occupies a special place in railway history. During the 19th century, it became one of Britain's most important railway towns. The London and North Western Railway established extensive carriage works here, and for many years, Wolverton was renowned throughout the railway industry. Thousands of workers were employed building and maintaining railway vehicles. At its peak, Wolverton Works produced some of the finest rolling stock in Britain, including royal trains and luxury carriages. As we pass through Wolverton, railway enthusiasts may notice remnants of the historic railway infrastructure which still survive around the station area. Leaving Wolverton behind, we continue northwards towards the point where the Northampton Loop diverges from the main West Coast Main Line. The history of this route is particularly interesting because Northampton itself was originally bypassed by the main railway. When Robert Stephenson planned the London and Birmingham Railway in the 1830s, he sought to avoid steep gradients wherever possible. Northampton lies in the River Nene Valley, significantly lower than the surrounding land, and connecting the town directly would have created gradients considered too steep for early locomotives. As a result, the original main line ran west of Northampton through places such as Road and Kilsby, leaving the county town without a direct railway connection. This decision proved controversial, and Northampton eventually received a branch line connection in the 1840s. However, demand continued to grow, and by the 1870s, the London and North Western Railway decided to build a completely new route through Northampton. That route is the very railway we are travelling on today. The Northampton Loop opened in stages between 1881 and 1882 and formed part of a major scheme to increase capacity on the West Coast Main Line. The loop allowed Northampton to gain direct services to London while also relieving congestion on the original route. As we follow the curve away from the main line, we are now travelling on a route that was effectively Britain's Victorian solution to a capacity problem. The landscape here opens out into rolling countryside. Fields stretch away on both sides of the railway, and, depending on the season, passengers may see crops, grazing livestock and traditional Northamptonshire farmland. Although this journey is relatively short, it offers a wonderful contrast between urban development and rural scenery. As we continue, keep an eye out for the numerous overbridges and underbridges which carry roads, footpaths and farm tracks across the railway. Many of these structures date back to the original construction of the line and remain in use today. Railway engineers of the Victorian era built infrastructure designed to last, and much of it continues to perform its intended function nearly a century and a half later. Freight traffic is another important feature of this route. The West Coast Main Line remains a major artery for goods trains travelling between ports, distribution centres and industrial regions across Britain. Nearby lies the Daventry International Rail Freight Terminal, commonly known as DIRFT. Opened in 1996 and expanded several times since, it has become one of the country's most significant rail freight interchanges and highlights the continuing importance of rail freight in the modern economy. As we continue north, the railway begins to approach the outskirts of Northampton. Northampton is one of England's largest towns and has a long history dating back to Anglo-Saxon times. For centuries, it was famous for the shoe and leather industry. At one time, Northampton produced footwear for customers around the world. The railway played a major role in supporting these industries by transporting raw materials into the town and finished goods out to markets across Britain and beyond. As we draw closer, urban development gradually replaces open countryside. Housing estates, industrial estates and commercial premises begin to appear alongside the railway. This section provides a fascinating view of how railways and towns have grown together over the decades. One particularly interesting feature on the approach to Northampton is Hunsbury Hill Tunnel. Opened in 1881 with the rest of the Northampton Loop, the tunnel stretches for over 1,100 yards beneath the southern side of Northampton. Entering the tunnel always provides a dramatic moment on any cab ride. The daylight suddenly disappears and the sound of the train changes as it echoes from the tunnel walls. Victorian railway engineers faced considerable challenges constructing tunnels like this, using the technology available at the time. When we emerge from the northern portal, Northampton comes fully into view. Almost immediately, the railway enters the busy station area. Northampton Station has undergone significant changes over the years. The original station was known as Northampton Castle Station because it occupied part of the site of the historic Northampton Castle. Expansion of the railway eventually led to the demolition of much of the remaining castle structure. Today's station is a modern facility handling millions of passengers each year. Services operate south towards London Euston and north towards Rugby, Birmingham, Crewe and beyond. As we arrive at Northampton Station, take a moment to appreciate the significance of this route. What began as a solution to Northampton's exclusion from the original London and Birmingham Railway evolved into an essential part of the modern railway network. This line has witnessed the age of steam, the transition to diesel power, the electrification of the West Coast Main Line during the 1960s, and the introduction of today's modern electric trains. For railway enthusiasts, the Milton Keynes to Northampton route offers a remarkable blend of history and modern operation. It showcases Victorian engineering, important railway heritage, busy commuter services, freight operations, urban development, and beautiful countryside, all within a relatively short journey. Every mile tells a story, from the pioneering days of Robert Stephenson and the London and Birmingham Railway, through the expansion of the London and North Western Railway to the electrified railway of today. This route represents nearly 2 centuries of railway history. And that brings us to the end of our journey from Milton Keynes Central to Northampton. I hope you've enjoyed travelling along this historic railway and learning about the fascinating history, engineering and locations that make this route so special. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this Driver's Eye View journey, please give the video a like, share it with fellow railway enthusiasts, and subscribe to the channel for many more railway adventures from across Britain and beyond. Don't forget to leave a comment below with your memories of this route, your favourite locations along the line, or suggestions for future Driver's Eye View journeys. Until next time, thanks for watching, stay safe and happy train spotting.